to do now is we're going to strip it apart and then blow the pistons out. So these bolts here, undo these. Now these will probably be phenomenally tight, an absolute swine. Now I know some people don't take these calipers apart, but I like to take them apart because I like to get involved and do a proper job. So first things first, undo them bolts. So we just freed these bolts off, and now we're taking them apart. This is fairly sort of like standard thing. Take the bolts apart, take the pin out, get rid of the pads, etc, etc, until you've actually stripped it down to the two. This is the caliper from the other side, already been taken apart, and you can see here this caliper has had a hard life. It's been beaten up a bit, and it may well be as a result of this that this caliper will be scrapped, and I'll probably get another caliper and rebuild that. But it gives me an opportunity to show you what's involved in rebuilding one. When you get to there, the next thing you've got to do is remove the pistons. A good way to remove the pistons, and the way I normally use, is I blow them out. On this particular caliper half, that hole there is the transfer hole which goes down to both these pistons. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put an air line at that hole. What's really important, you must ensure that the pistons can't come out freely, because they'll come out like bullets, so they'll end up digging themselves into something like your head. So what I normally do with this particular caliper setup, each caliper setup is different, I put them in a vise like this, so that when that piston comes out, it will hit the jaws of the vise, so it'll stop it flying around the workshop. I'll show you what I mean. So here you can see I've got the caliper in the vise in a position where once the piston comes out, it's going to hit the vise. So it's not going to fully come out, it's going to come out a small way, hit the vise. I'll open the vise a little bit more and then push it again until eventually it'll be right out. So you hold it nice and gently, and when those pistons come out, they're going to hit that vise. Put the air line into the hole, and a little blow like that, and that's blown the piston out. The piston has hit the vise. That took half a second, not even that. So you undo the vise a little tiny bit, just a little bit, and then you do it again. See, look at that. See how violent that was. Can you imagine if I didn't have the vise there, that piston would have left that caliper at 4,000 miles an hour, and we would have probably been looking for it in the next field. So I've got the other piston here which hasn't moved. So this particular caliper, this is the damaged caliper, and to be perfectly honest, I think this caliper's scrap, because if you look there, look, the piston next to the piston, the ring, the O-ring has been compromised. So that shows you how to blow the pistons out. Now let's say, for example, that this piston's come out but that one hasn't come out yet. What you can do is put that one back in a small amount, and you tighten the vise up, and so now the only movement is the other piston. So you can then apply the airline to that thing, and then hopefully move the other piston. Once the pistons are out, you can then remove the seals, which are two rubber rings inside there. Look, difficult to see, there's two rubber rings in there. You just remove those because you're not going to reuse them, and then you can clean the caliper competently Make sure every single little bit of dirt is removed from it, and then you can paint it and put new seals in. New pistons if required. Now, what you have to do, you have to polish the pistons to see if there's any marks or any sort of pitting or anything like that. Anything on the pistons means that they're scrap. These pistons on these BMWs, they've got a covering on them, and as a result they don't very often give you any grief. So I mean, I haven't looked at this one yet, but it may go again. But if the pistons are good and you put new seals in, then you can then put the new seals in after it's all painted, press the pistons back in, lubricate them properly, and hey presto. So eventually you clean everything, paint the bodies, new seals, clean the pistons, put everything back together, new bolts, and you end up getting with calipers that look really nice, work effectively, and then when you put them back on the bike they look as good as new. And obviously with a restoration, that's what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to achieve a look that makes it look as if the bike is new or been restored to a as new condition.